Well, after lots of sunshine, it's a really rainy morning and I'm sitting in the shed. I'm just recording some notes for today's Isolation Art School lesson. And we're drawing the family. We're stuck at home, so let's draw each other. It's something we can all have a go at, and it's great fun, and you can learn a lot very fast. So that's what this session's about, drawing the people closest to you. Here we are, drawing the family in isolation. So we're homeschooling, like all of us, and we're going to do some sketching. So it's Bertie and Elspeth. Okay, so let's start then with some circles, like we said, and trying to do some eye sockets. Okay, I'm going to get started. Well, the first thing when you're drawing somebody, I would suggest, is don't worry. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about rubbing out. Just go for it, really. So what we're doing is we're doing 2-minute sessions drawing each other. So each person, there's 3 of us, Elspeth, Bertie and me, each then modelling for 2 minutes at a time. And I'm drawing Elspeth and Bertie, and they're drawing each other and myself. So we're each drawing 2 people. And in those 2-minute poses, you're trying to capture as much detail as you can quickly, basic shapes, structures, and begin to build the face. So you'll see from my drawing here, look, I'm posing as I sit still for my son and daughter. But the important thing to begin with is to get the basic shape like an oval, and then get maybe the line down the middle of the face, depending on the tilt of the face, tilt of the head, and the line to show where the eyes are going to go. Then drop the eye sockets in, a circle for the nose, and then the mouth and the features and the hairline, and just build up those details lightly. We're using coloured pencils today. Coloured pencils are great to draw with. They've got a lovely quality to them. So this is a blue colouring pencil. It's got a lovely soft quality. As I say, don't worry about rubbing out, just kind of go for it and then keep building up. I'm going to talk more about this in this little film, but in this session you can see this bit here, this first drawing this morning, you can see that with each 2 minutes we're building up more and more detail on the faces. So that's 2 times 2 minutes so far on these drawings. You want to have a range of marks, so start light and then build up a strength as you get more and more confidence, and build up the tone and the shadow, thinking always where the light's coming from. So the light's coming from above here, so the shadows are under the eye sockets and under the chin and so on. There's lots to take on board as you look at this, but we're all doing this together, and what the lovely thing is about drawing together at home, of course, is that you can all help each other and advise, and it's funny, it's a kind of critical free space. It's just a kind of positive, enjoyable activity, and it can be very funny, and funny things can come out of it, but it's just a lovely thing to do together. Aware that the rain's pattering on the roof as I'm recording this. So this is the end of the second 2-minute set of drawings, and now we're going into the third set and final set of 2-minute drawings. So in this last set of 2 minutes, what I'm trying to do is to sharpen up the details that I'm most happy with. Trying to make sure that I'm adding some darker tones. It's really good to just add a little bit of punch to some of the marks. So darker tones around the eyes, the eyelash line, the fold of the eyelid, under the nose, the ears, and particularly the hair. Really kind of puncture the hair a bit, add some nice dark tones. So here I'm doing Elspeth's, kind of the final marks on Elspeth, so I'm adding the shadow under the eye sockets, sharp dark marks above the ear and kind of the hair to kind of give drama to the drawing. It really helps finish things off. And maybe some detail on the pattern on the top, just a few little incidental things like freckles. Those little details can really help lift a drawing at the end. And remember, nothing's been rubbed out, so if the line's not quite right, I just add to it slightly. And there we go. The nice thing about drawing like this as a family group is that you're all doing it together. And if you each pose for 2 minutes, everybody has to do some posing, so everybody is involved. And if you get the people who are posing to stare at the same thing each time, it's called spotting. So they look at something. I was looking at the television, Bertie was looking at the cooker. Then you can repeat the pose, and that way you can build up your drawing over 2 or 3 little sessions and kind of come back to the drawing. At the end of the drawing, it's a good idea to sharpen up the eyes and maybe add a little bit of pattern and clarify some lines. These are Elspeth's beautiful drawings of myself and Bertie. And these are Bertie's drawings of myself and Elspeth. I love the freckles on that drawing. That's such a lovely study of Elspeth. Lovely thing to have. Now there are a series of 3 or 4 drawings, so I might repeat myself slightly, and these of course are time-lapse. These are 20-minute drawings, and I'm just trying to go through the basics again and again to show you. The important thing is to learn the basics to begin with, so get the shape of a head in, kind of an egg shape lightly, and then drop the eye sockets in, I would suggest. and then the nose. And then you're working out the triangle between the end of the nose and the two eyes. Is that a tall, thin triangle or a short, fat triangle? And that helps. Get the ears in. Don't forget the ears. People often neglect the ears. The ears are really important. They kind of anchor the features of the head as you look at it. Establish the edge of the hairline, the size of the forehead. That's a really good way to add, the right proportional details to the face. It really helps the head come together if you get the hairline correct. And once you've got these structures in, the eye sockets, the nose, the ears, and then the mouth, and the shape of the head and the hairline, as these things come together, it becomes more and more, like the person you're drawing, obviously. And if you start lightly, you can build up. So we're going to go over this again several times in this little video. So it's about establishing those basics and not worrying, learning to look, learning to really look. Where's the light hitting that face? How can I show that shade? Let's look for that shadow. So you have to really look. So here we go again. Outline circle, outline shape. A line for the eyes. This is a 3/4 view for the side. This is my son Alexander. So I'm establishing how the head is turned. So again, get the eye sockets in. Remember, there's a skull under there. There's anatomy under there. And once you've got the eye sockets and the ear's same kind of level as the eye sockets, the nose, of course. It just follows around the head. Hairline. When you're drawing hair, I'd suggest keep the hair quite dynamic, quite fast moving and chunky. It's nice to have those chunky marks on the hair as distinct from the face. So the lighter marks on the face and maybe a kind of bolder, chunkier approach to the hair can work really well. So here we go again. This is my daughter Elspeth. So getting the basic shape first, establishing where the ear and the eye sockets are on the head. She's looking slightly up here, so the ear looks like it's slightly dropped. I put a circle at the end of the nose. That's a good thing to do, I think. It's very useful to have the end of the nose because as a circle, and then you can then build the nostrils under that and the other parts of the face. It's not always about likeness. Don't worry too much about likeness. Don't get het up about that. Sometimes, a drawing can look like somebody, remind you of somebody, but it isn't exactly like somebody. A drawing can capture more than the photograph. You can get the character of somebody in just a little mark, and you win some and you lose some. Sometimes you suddenly get it and then you lose it. Sometimes you don't get it and then you kind of win the drawing back, and other times it just goes smoothly or it doesn't go smoothly at all. But it's all learning. You learn from every mistake. Every mistake is valuable. So, as I say again, get the line in for the eyes, middle of the head. Remember, the eyes are in the middle of the head. Eye sockets, nose, nostrils, outline of the face, get the ears in, don't forget the ears, hairline, and then build up strength. So with every mark you're getting darker and darker as you build up. Not using a rubber in any of these drawings, and if you start lightly you can just then carry on building up strength and enjoy it. It's fun. It's a really good thing to do together, and even if it goes completely kind of madly wrong, they're still funny, they're still enjoyable drawings. You've just got to not worry what other people think, not worry about being too self-critical. And you get better all the time. You always improvement. It's always improvement going on. You're never striving for perfection. You're always trying to improve, but it's never quite right. And then you want to do another drawing, of course, and enjoy it. Other things I'm going to talk about in the coming sessions are things like hands and feet. People worry about hands and feet, and actually there are lots of things you can learn about hands and feet. But I'd encourage you to draw each other at home. It's a lovely activity in isolation, and they're lovely things to keep. These are Alexander's drawings of us earlier in the week. That's me on the right there, looking pretty snazzy. It's a lovely thing to have for the future, to hold on to remember these times. Remember, how you coped during lockdown. So yeah, draw each other, draw the family. It's a great thing to do. Enjoy, guys. Any questions, just send me notes in my feed. I'm happy to give further advice. Have a lovely day.